everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I read in the month of December. I only read 8 books, which is not as good as I usually do, mostly because after NaNoWriMo I sort of just crashed in all manners of writing and reading. The first book that I read in the month of December was When I Was the Greatest by Jason Reynolds. I cannot even describe to you how touching and heartfelt this book was. I really enjoyed it. I have never read a book by Jason Reynolds until now, but I'm really glad that I did, and I'm definitely going to be wanting to read more of his books in the future. I gave When I Was the Greatest 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of December was Duels in Deception by Cindy Ansley. This book does not come out until April of 2017, but I was lucky enough to pick up an arc of this book at a local book festival. This book is told in dual point of view from the perspective of Lydia, who is this very wealthy woman who has her entire future planned out. She is currently engaged to this one man who she really doesn't love, but that doesn't matter to her because she's doing it for the sake of her family. But then she starts to fall in love with the law clerk who is in charge of writing up her marriage contract. Along with that, there is a kidnapping. I didn't really love the writing style, and I thought the plot was enjoyable, and I thought overall this was really cute. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of December was When the Moon Was Ours by Anna something, I can't remember her last name. This book blew me out of the water. Honestly, I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. It reminded me a lot of The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender just because of the magical realism aspects. It was fantastic. I don't really know how to describe this to you because it's so out there, but it's basically about this girl who was born with roses like growing out of her wrists, and it's all magical realism, really fantastic. It's very diverse and enthralling, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read this month was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I read Everything last year when it came out, and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to continue reading her novels as they came out. It's about this girl named Natasha who is about to be deported back to Jamaica, and this boy named Daniel who she meets and strikes up a friendship with. This was really sweet and poignant, and I just really enjoyed it. Nicola Yoon's writing style and the way that she structures her stories are very unique, and I really love them. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of December was The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This series I started and finished in 2016, which I'm really glad that I did. I couldn't be happier with the way that this series ended. I think it was perfect. I think it was satisfactory. I love these characters and the world so much, and I'm sad that it's over, but we've got a trilogy centered around Ronan coming at some point in the future from Maggie, so I'm not so sad knowing that that's coming, but still sad to see this end. I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read this month was The Last Cherry Blossom by Kathleen Birkinshaw. I actually won a Sweet 16's Twitter giveaway of this book, and the author sent it to me herself, so it is signed, and she is just a lovely, lovely person. This is a middle grade story following a 12-year-old girl during World War II in Japan. It was well researched and well told, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I don't wanna live forever, 'cause I know I'll be living in vain, and I don't wanna fit wherever. I just wanna keep calling your name until you come back home.
The next book that I read in the month of December was The Disenchantments by Nina LaCour. I read Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour early this year. I wanted to read more from this author, and I'm really glad that I picked this one up because it was very, very good. It's told from the perspective of a boy named Colby, who is basically sort of like the manager of this high school girl band. Their plan for the past like 4 years has been to go on this last grand tour after high school, and then he and his best friend Bev will go to Europe and backpack. But then at the beginning of the tour, Bev reveals that she does not want to do that anymore and she wants to go to college. So Colby is sort of blindsided and has to deal with all of the drama. This reminded me in a lot of ways of Paper Towns by John Green, although I did like it a lot more in some respects. I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The 8th and final book that I read in December and the year of 2016 was Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. It follows a girl named named Danalea, who is a princess engaged to a prince in a foreign realm. But when she goes to marry the prince, she ends up falling in love with someone very unexpected, the prince's sister. This is a fantasy with magic and intrigue and romance, and it was just a really good book to end my reading year on. I also got to interview this author, and that video is up on my channel right now, so if you're interested in watching that, I will link it down below as well as on the screen. The author is really lovely, and this was an equally lovely book. I hope there's going to be a sequel. I really, really do. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. So those were all the books that I read in the month of December and 2016. You guys, that's insane. The year is almost over. If you guys like this one, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. I post new videos twice a week. If you guys would like to follow me on Twitter or any of my social medias, I will leave the links to those in the description box below as always. But most of all, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in the new year. Bye!